totally got no idea what is engineering, you know. I just know that I wanted the way, okay? So I listened to that and I went. And when I got my first choice, right, I cried. You know why? Because how can my first choice be in a desert? Okay, so I studied in the branch of USM. We call it engineering branch. Okay, so the engineering branch was in people who know and have been to Lumut. If you all have been to the Petronas U, or you have been to Lumut, right? From Ipoh to Lumut, right? That place is a very deserted place. Okay, so when I first went, right, it was a really it was really funny because I saw cow lembu becoming divider in the middle of the road, and there was nothing on the left and nothing on the right. There was nothing. There was no city. There was no houses. It was just desert. Okay, so I went in shock, right? But I came out. And I wasn't an extrovert also. You guys probably see me right now will think that I'm an extrovert, okay? I talk a lot and all. I was very quiet. I didn't have any of those values that you think you see me in me today. No, it was never that. So I was a very quiet person. I was the only one representing my school. And it's Malacca High School, right? It was the only one representing my school into that place, that deserted place. And I went there and I took engineering, and I wasn't also mixing around a lot, okay? That wasn't really me. But out of the 3 years, of course, I came out and then I received my first job. And my first job was also not applied by me. Okay? So, to your surprise, right, when I had my first job, it was actually out of an interview. They went to interview. And in the interview, right, I was successful in the interview. Okay, so I went to On Semiconductor. Okay, On Semiconductor, you know, it's an ex-Motorola, and it was in Senawang. Okay, it was closer to Malacca. I went to work for 1 day. 1 day. Then after that, I received a call. I said, okay, the call called me and said, do you want to come for an interview? Did you apply for this? Of course, when somebody calls you, did you apply for this? What do you say? Yes, sir, but actually I didn't apply. That was applied by Mr. Chua, right? So he applied for me because that was he's in Penang. And then this place, Intel then was in Kulim, okay, which is in next to Bukit Bertajam. So basically, I successfully managed to get another job 1 day after working in On Semiconductor. So I went, and I started off as a fresh grad in a job called root cause engineer. Okay, so what root cause engineer does is that basically we do just like post-mortem. Okay, so when something fails in the production line, we are sent the bodies. Okay, the body, that means the thing that failed. Okay, and then out of that thing, right, you have to identify what's wrong with it. So it's like somebody was killed. Then after that, you need to find, okay, what killed it? Okay, what killed it is most important. After what killed it, you know what killed it already, right? You need to know how to prevent it from being killed. So that was how my life started. Okay, I was not easy, but it was really a very what do you call that? It's a very good training ground. So I went into a very good company, I would say. Life was not easy because it was a pressure cooker, but definitely it built me. And I really want to thank my first boss, okay? Because my first boss taught me a lot of things. She not only taught me a female corporate view, right, of a leader, she taught me a lot about life, okay? She taught me what was breastfeeding. She taught me what was non-education, academic education. So that actually made me who I am, right? I was in an environment that my leader, her name is XK, so she was a very good mentor to me. Okay, very pregnant like me also, because she also always pregnant. So in 4 years I have 3 pregnancies, right? So when I told my boss then, okay, I said I wanted to take leave again, right? And the reason was because I'm pregnant again. It was really like crying because every time when I'm pregnant I have to travel. So that's why it was a very good place where I got, I would say, my ability to be so open right now, ability to talk, my extroverts are all linked to where I was previously, right, in Intel, okay? So it was in that 16 years, right, I went from engineering, which is this materials, and went from this failure analysis. So I was looking at cross sections. I was working with all the big tools, like you see MRI, CT scan, this type of tools, but it's in the lab level where we look at levels of microscopic levels of failures. Then after that, I started doing root cause analysis. I started doing materials development. Okay, so we developed the second generations of this lead-free paste for Intel. So I'm actually one of the leader, project lead, right, for this. Then after that, we went into doing a lot. I did supply management, and I did integrations, I did project leads. So that was my life. But actually, what I learned in the Intel world was a lot about ability to own your own work. Okay, that means you need to be very independent, and I was very, because I didn't have manager that micromanage me. Most of my manager are either only the first 5 years was a micromanaging manager that was very close in the same site as me. Then after that, I had managers that were in US, so I was the only one working here. So I actually had a need to do my own self-management. So I'm actually very independent person, and I think I will also advocate a lot of my abilities right now came from my curiosity. So I'm a very curious person. I'm very curious about how things happen, why things happen, and therefore a lot of my projects that I lead, right, I do a lot of research. So I read a lot of papers, I read a lot of literatures, I do a lot of investigations about the technical base of it. So basically that was how I grew up in my 16 years. But then when my son falls sick, right, so my son was, for those who do not know, my son is actually leukemia, right, cancer. So he was diagnosed at the age of 5. So at that time, right, I didn't stop work, right, and my husband, he stopped work, he took no pay leave. I accompany my son, and then he does all the travels to bring the food, everything, right. So both of us were actually taking care of kids during that 2014 period. So during that period, right, I didn't stop work, and in fact, I was managing one of another bigger projects, which is in Vietnam, transitions to new material. Okay, I only wanted one thing. I wanted nobody to know that I was working from the hospital. So basically, nobody knew I was working from the hospital because I gave all in. I'm a very workaholic. I gave all in, I would say. I start work at 5 a.m., 5 a.m. and I finish work about 6 p.m. Not because the work takes so long, it's because I love to work. Okay, so I didn't give anything less than what I should because I was in the hospital. So I gave all in, and then successfully, of course, even during that period, I got promotions. Okay, so my life was a lot of challenges, but I think the bigger challenges was when you don't have control, especially when it comes to someone falling sick. Because today when I read a post that was written by one of my Facebook friend that I have not met before, and then she was telling about how she took care of the 80-over-years-old father and mother, and also having a sister who has Down syndrome and epilepsy. It was really, you can see the struggles of a caregiver. So being a caregiver is very challenging. So either you are in the position of caregiver, or you are equally as challenging as you being the one who's sick. Being the one who's sick, you sometimes don't have control of your emotions also. So I went into two phases. So I had this caregiver part of it, and then I also had the part where I was also falling sick because of depression. So that shaped me for the last 10 years. And in that 10 years, right, it was not something that anybody would want to go through. So when I finished, after my son got well and saved, were actually saved by NEFU, okay? I would say my boy, we managed to save him because of NEFU. Reason being is because thanks to my auntie who's in JB, she gave the whole gift of NEFU to my son, who was struggling in the hospital for 2 weeks with no indication of what happened, and his liver was failing, and there were blood system that was not producing. It was really a struggle. The fever was still on, and we couldn't find out what's the problem. And it only took us one night to discover the power of NEFU. Just after one night, whatever system that wasn't working, the blood system, went back on track. His fever came down for the first time after 2 weeks, and everything went back to normal within a week. After that 1 week, right, I basically walked up to the person who brought me the product. I never asked, is it an MLM? I never asked anything like this. All I asked was, how can I buy this? And I asked this question for the intention of, how can I buy more for my kid? Because the first set was a gift from the aunt. Where can I buy it? The third question I asked was, how can I buy cheaper even for my other 2 kids who are not sick? Okay, I only had this intention only. So when she, the one that shared with me, her name is Pauline, so she's in Penang, she's a doctor's wife. So when she shared with me the price of the product, I said one thing very clearly. I knew I said it because I remember it so clearly that I told her this. I said, you mean to say one set of NEFU was at that time was about 15K, okay? One set of NEFU was 15K. I told her, so cheap. And she was shocked. She said, nobody ever says that it was cheap. And you are the first one to say it was cheap. I said, it's so cheap. So very cheap. 15K can take care of my boy until today. The same blanket that he was using, just the clothing, he outgrow it, right? But it's so cheap. And it shocked her. But at that time, was I thinking about the money? I was not thinking about the money. I was thinking about how to get him well. Okay, why and how? Because cancer has no cure. And the doctor told me day one, right, it was only 80% opportunity. So if it's 80%, if you do the maths, right, you left 20%. Okay, so now the question is, are you willing to let go the 20%? I wasn't willing to let go. So I need to find what is the 20% out there, right, that can give me the opportunity even beyond 100%. So what I saw was an opportunity to care for him after the treatment. Okay, because we have 3 years of chemo, he only finished 8 months of chemo. We have another 2 years plus of chemo that we need to struggle. Okay, so I need to find something for him because I don't want to be like other moms. I don't want to be like other parents who actually were given the news that it was a relapse. I was not willing. Okay, so that's why I took a different outlook at it. I was telling her that I really need this product and I need it to help him maintain his health and not let cancer come back and find for him. That was my only intention. So when I bought, I didn't have enough money. Okay, for people who think that money is beyond, I don't have money, I cannot buy. Okay, this is what I was thinking. Maybe you can gauge. Okay, so I was only thinking this. 8 months I have not been working. I have been working, my husband was not working. But previously all those money that I saved, right, were all gone. Why? Because all those money were used for managing the 50% that we lost, and also to get additional things that to care for him, right? Just like a ionizer, then we have a good organic food, then we need a water filter, we will need a fridge and everything, right? So, and we have to care for the other 2 kids and everything. So I'm as no money as every one of you, okay? But I only had one thing at that time. I want to get this product for all my kids. So immediately I agree. I said, I don't have anything, I have a card, okay? So I gave her my credit card, and she immediately, I purchased 3 sets. Okay, 1 set for my son, additional 1 more set. 1 more set for my 2 kids. 1 more set for me and my husband. So total we buy 3 sets. Okay, then people think you're crazy. The sick one is the younger one. Why you need to buy for the other 2? Why you buy for the other adult? Okay, so my thinking is this. Firstly, nobody tells me why my son was sick. So I need to make sure that the other 2 are not sick. But have people been so lucky? Sometimes in the hospital you will see things that are reality versus what you think probability is. So I didn't want anything like that to happen again. So I need to care for the other 2. Okay, one thing. Second thing is the other 2 cannot fall sick. They fall sick, they will impact the younger brother. So 2 cannot fall sick, so 2 must get well also. Then they are not sick, then the younger brother don't have to be isolated. Okay, don't cause the problem at home. Then where comes the other, me and my husband? If both of us sick, who want to take care of him? So altogether we need at least 3 sets also. I purchased 60,000 equivalent. Yeah. When I purchased, right, I was not thinking because I only had a card, right? I said you go and swipe, whatever you can swipe, you swipe. Immediately when he swiped, immediately the bank called me already. At that time, right, no more so many scammers and all this lah. At that time don't have. And then don't have the 0% this or that. Don't have the installment plan. Don't have nothing. Don't have. I actually use 9% interest rate to pay for my products. Okay, but do you know within a month, I was able to walk out and travel outside Penang Island because my son had the improved health that I can let go. So when I can let go, I have freedom of moving around. So after the first month, right, by the first month, I was able to travel out already to Taiwan. Okay, and then we went to Taiwan, and the intention to go to Taiwan, other than to learn about ourselves, is also to see how people who have used it for so successful for 20 years, how have they been using. So that was the only intention. So when I came back, it totally changed how we see this as just a basic use. So we top up more for my son to use. So basically that was how we started. But thankfully, after 6 months, right, we actually gained back what we lost. 8 months taking care of my son, not 1x, 2x. So it all came because we used enough, we have the confidence, we saw the ability to help more people. And I gave up my job after 1 year, and I gave up my job, and then I went full-time into NetFood. Okay, but was it because of the money that I came? Seriously, I never earned as much in NetFood as what I earned in my corporate world, okay? So I probably earn only 1/3 of what I earn. You'll be surprised, right? Because what I'm doing right now is more on team management. So I manage a team of people, right? And total I have about 8 leaders worldwide. So we in that choice that I did, right, it was for a wider and a longer need, right? Ability to touch more people, but then not work on my own team. So basically I was only recommending people during the first year, and only after 10 years I started recommending to people. In between were just referrals and referrals. So imagine I only worked for the first year and the 10th year. In between, all those were all not my direct contacts. They were just referred out people. So that was how NEFU was, okay? So maybe keeping it a little bit more lighter. So what I have for this year, okay? So for this year, right, last year was a growth year. Okay, on top of just NEFU alone, right, I actually did a lot on this purpose, the purpose of life purpose. And I was using a tool called Life Path Numerology for 10 years. So for that 10 years, right, I was able to meet the right people. I was not just meeting anybody, I was meeting the right people. And at the same time, from the right people, we can cultivate them to be our team partners and team leaders, okay? And on top of that also, I realized last year when I started doing a little bit wider scale on a bigger community to the public, I noticed that it was so unique that LifePath can also help people who have no ability to talk. That means they are special kids, okay? I actually help some special kids who the parents have, the teachers, the parents, trying to reach out and understand them, but then have the limitations because it's not a two-way thing. So we can also touch kids like this, and it was really amazing because numbers is actually part of the universe, right? The only numbers appear in all languages. You have the Chinese, Italian, everything numbers are all, even alphabets are also numbers. So numbers come from vibration. So that's why it was a very lucky thing for me that I was exposed to this very early. So life purpose was one of the bigger portion also that I realized that was helpful, right, for both integrating NEFU and also for myself. So Tree of Life started as a gift, okay? For people who do not know, it was actually a gift. It was a gift from a sister in Penang, and then it was also from God. So Tree of Life was is not working on a specific NEFU. It's a transformations whereby we looking at the tree, right? We need to be strong on the roots, and then only we can talk about the fruits, okay? So you are strong on the roots, so everything goes back to the same thing. NEFU goes back to the roots of the problem. Life purpose goes back to the roots of your your purpose, right? So it's all going back to the roots, even spirituality, okay, and your faith. So that's why Tree of Life came about. So this year, right, if you have seen last 2 days or last Friday, I started to write a lot of my thoughts about how Tree of Life will be. It's not on the health and wellness, but it's more on the transformation, okay, a transformation from inside out. Only when you have this transformation, you be a better version of yourself, okay? So now we are not looking we are not looking into the profits of it, and we are not looking into just the the recognitions of it. No, nothing like that. It's to go back to our core and then help from the core to help people achieve more than what they think they could be, because a lot of people are lost, okay? If you go to a lot of these metaphysics, you also Joey up and all this, and you see that there's huge crowd. We're talking about more than a few thousand, 10,000 people there, online and offline, who are lost. Okay, so basically, it's very important for us to understand ourselves better before we can try to help other people. So it's no longer pouring from your own cup, right? Because you want to pour, you want to help people, you want to bless people, everything from, you have to fill up yourself first. So we integrate this into your whole life, right? From your self-love. Then after that, only when you are fulfilled and then healthy, right? Then you are able to achieve able to achieve your next level of growing. So life is about growing, right? We want to leave the world a better version than when we came, right? So it's a lot of, we say, enrichment of your soul. So that's about what I am envisioning for 2026. and hopefully when I have more, you guys are welcome to follow my Facebook social media, because a lot of my thoughts are placed into social media, because I find that is a lot very helpful for me, very healing for me, and it's not so it's not only just myself, also for my team management, and also for people who needs a lot of experience sharing. So a lot of my life was about experiences, okay? Experience from my walk with my boy, up to my depressions, and then right now into team management, and then how I look into life purposes. So it's a lot about that. So hopefully, if anybody has anything you want to understand a little bit more, welcome to connect with me offline, okay? So today is I'm back in office after hibernating for so long, so I just give you all a look about, okay? Hold on. So this is Nefu office, right? So this is the latest blanket. So Nefu is actually about health wearables. So through wearing and sleeping is where we achieve our health. So for those who do not know why it's like that, it's because this